educational WFSU-FM, and the first North Florida serial broadcast. Bill Ragsdale, Dad, finally achieved his first position as chief engineer at Florida State University's WFSU-FM. Also, he was promoting and expanding the station's programming in addition to handling technical details. It was a job that really fit his personality and interests. Actually, Dad really didn't have that difficult a technical position since the FM station was very low power. The station started out in 1949 on 660 AM and was then an all-student-run concern. They originally transmitted only 2.5 hours per day, and its transmission range was supposedly limited to just the FSU campus. However, due to complaints about the signal leaking into areas not within the college confines, the station went off the air in 1953. I think this is about when Dad became involved, and the station procured a low-power FM license, returning to the air at 10 watts on 91.5 megahertz in July 1954. Dad helped make the station professional, adding programs that were interesting to many people, assuming these people were into the arts. There was no rock and roll or country programming to my knowledge. This is quite possibly the time when Dad became acquainted with Robert Bob Kohler. As previously indicated, Kohler's obituary stated that he, 1, designed and built WFSU-FM and WFSU-AM, 2, designed and built with Bill Ragsdale, Willie the Weatherman, WFSU-TV. I suspect that most of the actual electronics Bob Kohler used was commercially manufactured, though he likely selected the pieces, designed the placement, and installed each electronic item. Dad made recordings of concerts in Opperman Music Hall, the large concert hall at the music school, and put these on the air whenever he could. By 1954, there were Magnacord and Ampex recorders that the station used to record such musical performances. Dad also made recital recordings, including some from the famous resident composer Ernst von Dohnanyi. This is the German form of the Hungarian composer-conductor-pianist name. Dohnanyi had moved to Tallahassee for the last part of his life, and as a composer is probably best known for his concertos, sometimes using folk melodies from Hungary, and especially variations on a nursery tune for piano and orchestra. While at WFSU-FM, Dad produced some of Professor Dohnanyi's recordings. Nevertheless, there were times when the great composer would miss a note. However, Dad was particularly proud of his abilities regarding any editing needed for recordings of live performances. This was way before the digital recording age, so there was no ability to easily clip out the note on a computer and then replace it. There were, of course, no personal computers either. What my dad would do was record himself playing the correct note on an appropriate piano somewhere in the music building. Next, he would use a razor blade to remove the portion of tape with the offending note and then replace it with a piece of tape having the correct note he himself had played and recorded. It took considerable artistry to get the note reinserted in a seamless fashion. Dad once said that Dohnanyi really liked my dad's ability to fix up his recordings. At any rate, I still remember the dark hallways of the basement where the radio station was located. The antenna was actually on the roof of the building. WFSU-FM is still going today, though I wonder how many remain alive that know the legacy Dad left regarding the station's beginnings. Yet, I did find on the internet a yearbook for 1957 showing Dad with the title of Chief Engineer for the Office of Communications and Radio. It is quite a title for such a small station. However, I think Dad was especially proud of one first that he accomplished with the FM station. I'm not sure of the year, but I think it was about 1956. He broadcast an early version of stereo. One channel was broadcast by WFSU-FM, and the other channel was sent over the airwaves by DdToWl. I remember listening to that first transmission. It was quite a novelty, though the quality of the two channels was unequal. AM did not have the low noise and wide frequency range of FM, so it really wasn't like the true stereo transmissions that became available in the 1960s, earlier in other areas. Nevertheless, it was a milestone for Tallahassee.